about 7 and 8 o'clock, somewhere around that time.
Okay.
Because I know our count cleared, and that's around 6 o'clock.
Okay. Do you, well, I'll come back to that. She asked about writing a book about this? What?
Yeah, because I mentioned about what I was doing, about wanting to write a book. So she asked me if I think that they would write a book about her, like a true crime book. Yeah.
And how was she asking it? Like, did she want somebody to, or no? Could you tell?
It was more like, okay, I explained to her about what I wanted to do, and she was like, well, do you think somebody would want to write a book about me or interview me and write a book about me? I was like, well, probably. You're high profile. Probably. They probably want to write one on me, too. You're high profile. It was a conversation like that.
And you couldn't tell, like, whether she liked the idea or didn't like the idea?
I couldn't tell because we were through the vent at that time.
Okay.
That's when I was above her, and we talked through a little vent in the wall.
Okay. How did you know that you were above one another to even be able to talk?
Well, all the cells are numbered 1 through 32. Downstairs is 1 through 16. Well, all the even number cells, they line up with each other.
So you just sort of know. Where everybody is. She talked about, I think, to you about having a child so young. Mm-hmm. What did she say about that?
That she didn't think that it was a good idea for her to have a baby at so young because she still wanted to live a life. She still wanted to party, still wanted to meet guys, go out there to clubs, and that she didn't think it was actually a good idea for her to have a child at so young. She felt like her life was being taken away because now you have more priorities to handle.
And what was your reaction when you were hearing her say that, and how was she saying it? Was she sort of saying it like explaining her? I mean, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
It was more like basically like just having a conversation, kind of explaining how she felt about actually having a baby at a young age, and I didn't really see nothing wrong with that. I mean, the circumstances, yeah, it's a wrong thing to say, but a lot of parents that have kids at young ages do wonder. Even my mom has wondered, maybe she would have went to college, maybe something else would have happened. So
you understood that?
I understood that, but not in the circumstances that we're in. So.
Right, you thought it was an odd thing for her to say when her daughter's missing and she's now talking about regrets about ever having her. Just didn't seem like it was right at the time.
No, it didn't.
She said she told you her mother was telling her that she was an unfit mother?
Yeah.
What did she say about that?
That because of her wanting to drink and party all the time and all the different guys that she had around the baby, that her mother felt like she wasn't a fit mother, that she wasn't doing for her child. She was doing more for herself. She was being selfish. Which is true. It is.
Yeah. You called law enforcement, and let me ask you a little bit about that again, because you were having conversations, trying to get her, for whatever reason, to come out and maybe just talk to them and tell them whatever she really knew about whatever really happened. Mm-hmm. And that never really came to be, as you said. But at one point, why did you decide, in other words, if you were sort of talking to law enforcement at one point, to Brian Cross, and telling him that you were sort of maybe talking to her, I guess, did he know that you were talking to her?
He knew we were housed in the same dormitory and that we were, like, every now and then talking.
But he didn't know the extent?
No, I never told him anything that she ever told me or anything like that, because at the time I didn't want to get involved. It was another case. It was somebody else's case. I didn't want to get involved.
You were having your own case at that time. Okay. So when did you reach out?
Around Thanksgiving time last year. I was in here. I called through the phones and made a phone call.
Who'd you call?
Several different places, actually. I called the prosecutor's office, and it said call between 9 to 5 and gave me a list of numbers to push. There was no homicide, so I was like, okay. So Then it was the Orlando Homicide Department. They said the same.
Orlando Police Department.
Yeah, they said the same thing. Finally, dialed 911.
Back in last November.
Yeah.
And then who did they put you in touch with?
They transferred me to Homicide Department in Orlando, and I'm not sure who got on the phone, but they took my information down and came to see me in a couple weeks.
Okay. So as soon as you did reach out to them, they came. Okay. And what the document said that we got the other day said that you were not asking for anything in return.
No.
Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. You haven't even called your lawyer?
No.
Called anybody?
No. The only real thing I asked was not to get out into the media, because at first, when my case hit the media, I was placed in lock off rip, and it messed it up a lot because a lot of the articles that were written about me wasn't really the truth of what happened. So I was kind of scared about that happening again. Well, once it hit the media, I received your letter, and I was like, okay, well, I might as well now.
It's out there. Yeah, it's out there now.
It's out there now.
Because it was released, I forget when, last week?
Yeah.
Last week. Well, maybe, last Tuesday. So you, even in the future, you do not plan to ask for any break on your sentence.
No.
I just checked it today on the way here, and it's like 2037.
Yeah.
So you have like another 27 years to go, plus I guess some game time maybe.
Yeah.
You're not going to ask for anything.
No, because I'm fortunate to have that sentence, period. So I'm not going to ask for nothing in return. And I have my own court stuff that I'm working on. So this has nothing to do with me going home tomorrow or in a couple of years. It has nothing to do with that. It was just conversations I had with my parents because, like I said, I never told everybody what she told me, but people knew I talked to her, and people, like my parents, knew I knew stuff. And just like the first time, I told myself, it's the right thing to do. It's the second time, it's the right thing to do. So I'm not asking nothing for a return. There's no need for it. It's a child that's the victim. So for her, I mean, at least the truth will be out. At least people can breathe. At least another person like that can never have children again to do it to them again. And plus, being in prison here where you have child molesters and baby killers everywhere, it makes you see it differently. It really does. In my opinion, they should all be here for life. Simple as that. It's not right to hurt a child.
Some people think that, a life sentence, and I'm not going to make any judgment calls on this. She's facing a possible death sentence, but some people feel, and I just heard someone say this on one of the news programs yesterday, that a life sentence for someone who's a psychopath who doesn't care is sort of a cakewalk in a sense, because they're able to just go about their business, get letters. She was talking about, in her letters to Robin Adams, getting, letters from guys, and she's sort of giggling about it, and, like you said, staring at herself in the mirror. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that whole issue?
Well, it's different when you actually come to this compound or any other compound. It's different. You have people to tell you when you can take a shower, when you can use a bathroom. You have to sit up at certain times, what to wear, how to wear your makeup, how to wear your hair. I mean, how to walk down the compound, what to eat. I mean, everything. So it's different when you actually hit this reality. It's completely different.
Prison is totally different than jail.
It's completely different. Completely. Everything. Like, I didn't believe it either because in county, I knew the officers. Everybody knew me. I was 18 when I came in. I was the little baby to everybody. But when you hit this compound, you're just another DC number. You're not an individual. You're just another DC number. There's no getting to know officers and, play around with them. No, there's none of that. The food is a lot worse. Our canteen is a lot worse. The only thing we get cigarettes. I mean, it's different reality.